The trust trap. Don't trust everything. I'm about to teach you something about trust that you may have never heard or considered before. This is the just important other side of the coin of trust that tells us to be careful of who we trust. In fact, after I explain this side of the coin, you may find yourself feeling that it is more important than the side that you are familiar with. Trust dominates all. Trust is the crucial factor of human interaction. The lack, loss, betrayal, or overextension of it can be devastating to relationships, projects, and more. When two humans come together for any reason, the level of trust that exists between them will dictate most of what they will decide to do together. When it comes to deals between two people, trust carries more leverage than friendship, relationship, and even admiration. It is an affecting power between people. Disloyal trust. One of the main things that trust inducts into a relationship is expectations. When we choose to trust someone, it is because we feel that we can predict that their actions will operate in accordance with how we want them to behave in select situations. We expect them to act and respond in only the ways that we want them to act and respond. We may even cloak our expectations with statements such as, "Now I trust you to do the right thing." And then when that person doesn't do what we expected them to do, we devalue their worth with what we label as betraying our trust, along with the tongue lashing to hopefully lower their self-worth. Then we walk away with our heads held high and a self-pity of being the trustworthy person whose trust was betrayed by the one who is untrustworthy. Issue trust, not trust issues. Personally, I'm a person who operates within the parameters of trust with even a person that I pass by on the street. I treat my trust like diamonds. I don't offer my trust to people who may not have the ability to meet my complex, reputation-crushing expectations. I measure and weigh who and when I can trust someone, along with what I can trust them with. I construct a formula for success that should work well in sync with the person that I have selected, who has demonstrated the ability to easily handle the level of trust that I am extending to him. If the person that I choose to trust fails, it is I who failed at choosing who I trusted. Authorized to issue trust. This is how trust should be treated. It should be issued in situations that are well thought out by a person who wants everyone to succeed and will feel personally like a failure if the person who he or she selected violates the code of trust. This is called being responsible with trust, and sadly, too many do not issue their trust with this type of effort. And that is why I'm teaching you about the other side of the trust coin, which is to beware of who you allow to trust you. Trust is not a gift. When accepting trust from just anyone, that person may be someone who can't be trusted with trusting another. And if that's the case, we do not want to position ourselves where their incompetence with trust can be blamed on us. Accepting trust from one who is irresponsible with trust is self-sabotaging to sully your reputation. Don't look at trust from another as a gift that must be accepted or some sort of unspoken peace offering from them. Learn to view it as a new responsibility to meet the expectations of the one who just issued their trust to you. It is best for the sake of relationships, our reputation, and the integrity of trust to never allow someone to trust you whose expectations you do not know or trust, because their trust can end up as a trap for your reputation. Trust me. And I'd like to give an elaboration on that. I can remember in my youth days, of course, if you know of me, you know I spent time locked up, and I can remember I was hanging out on the yard. You know, we were just talking. We were telling war stories, and one of the gangsters out there started talking about the crimes he had committed, and I started saying, whoa, wait. I said, what are you doing? And he said, I'll just tell you, man, what we. I said, no, I do not want to hear that, brother. I said, you can't tell me. He said, and the guy said to me, you know, he said, well, Bam Bam, I trust you, man. You're a good dude. I said, whoa. I said, I don't trust you. I said, I don't trust you telling me that. I said, because if this what happened, you telling me this stuff, and if you get ratted on, then you got to sit there and say, well, who knew? And then you're going to say, well, Bam Bam knew. So what if Bam Bam was one of the guys right? So that makes me a liability to you by you telling me that, which means right now you are a liability to me, because I have to take into consideration that if you do get busted for what you're telling me, you're going to be thinking I'm a rat, and you may send somebody after me, so I might need to get rid of you right now. So, of course, I didn't, you know, we laughed it off and everything, but that really brought a good understanding to him of how trust operates. And that's what I'm saying. You have to be careful of who you allow to trust you. Just because somebody says, yeah, I trust you, man, screw you. I don't want you to trust me. What does that mean? What does it mean you expect of me because you trust me? That means you expect me to behave some certain way that I have not yet agreed to. So before you start trusting me, that you need to do that. I tell everyone, don't trust me. Do not trust me. I need to earn that from you. Don't walk up to me saying, yeah, Jermaine, I trust you. That does not impress me. I'm not looking for that. Does not make us closer friends. And that does not make me feel good. That actually is a threat to tell me that you trust me. I don't want to hear that crap. It's up to you to watch my behavior, to learn me, and say to yourself, man, I can trust this dude. And then you take the risk. And then if you are wrong and trusting me in something, you say, man, I know if I do this, Jermaine's got my back. He's going to do this stupid thing that I trust him to do because I just believe that because he's got this, cool haircut, which I don't have anymore. Or he's, got these muscles, or he fought in the cage. So I know he's going to do this stupid thing as soon as I get him in this stupid position. And then you do something and I say, man, what the heck you doing? And leave you there. And he will say, I trusted you to do something stupid. I'm going to say, well, I ain't stupid no more. So that's a really, really important chapter because I think we issue trust. We just throw it out there with these expectations and we want to, feel and make people feel like we're rewarding them by telling them that we trust them. And when we're actually putting them in a position where we place these expectations on them that most time they did not agree to and probably wouldn't agree to if they knew what the expectation of that trust was.